Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about my impressions of the Battlefield 5 Alpha. I was granted access to this thanks to EA, and I thought I'd make a video talking about what I think of the game. Just so everybody knows, this was streamed. Everything was streamed live on Twitch. I'll leave my link down in the description. But I want to start by talking about the things that I liked about the game. And the things that are working well in this alpha. The gunplay, first and foremost, is my favorite thing that they've changed in Battlefield 5. Just the tightness of it, the fact that the suppression doesn't work the same as it does in Battlefield 1, where whenever you're getting shot at, your bullets don't really go where you're aiming at. Your bullets do go where you're aiming as long as that accuracy of the gun itself is in line with the range that you're shooting at. As we know, they also added an attrition system to the game, which I personally find interesting. I'm not sure if I like it yet. I think it may need some tweaking, which they'll probably have to deal with that once they open up a test of this game to the public, so probably a public beta or an open beta, which honestly right now I like it. I think that having 2 to 3 mags as soon as you start is a great amount of ammo, because you can still, with an STG I was able to probably take out 2 to 3 people with 1 magazine, so that's about 6 to 9 people that I could take out if I'm landing my shots, of course. And I could probably take out more if they were just headshots, but that's not how everybody plays. So, but yeah, I think 6 to 9 people with the amount of ammo that you get is pretty good. And then it helps that there is a pretty good amount of resupply stations. And this goes with health, of course, as well. In the attrition system, you're not regenerating all of your health unless you get some sort of med kit, or from a medic, or you go to a little resupply station and get some health. I really like this, just because it kind of makes you think a little bit more about what you're doing. It doesn't make you just go like, hey, I'm going to go on the side of the map and just shoot everything for 30 minutes, because you can't. You just can't. Which I really like that. It makes the gameplay much more involved. And then another thing that I think I noticed, but I don't know if it's just like a timer thing like there is in Battlefield 1, but with the assault class and explosives, I don't think I was able to get explosives from my support. I had to go to a station to get more like rockets and explosive charges, I guess. Which I'm not sure if that's actually a feature or if I just was missing something, but I believe that that's what was going on, and I actually really like that, because that means that the explosion spam was negated quite a bit outside of cities and stuff. Or I say cities, objectives. So the Grand Operations mode is very interesting. The current build of the game only has 2 days of the Grand Operations mode, where the final game is supposed to have up to 4, depending on the way the battle goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out, because I really like the idea of the 4th day where nobody can respawn, although you're not going to be getting that every single time you play it. But yeah, so far my impressions of Grand Operations is that it's pretty good. I like how it's kind of like Rush, where you have very focused objectives, very focused pockets of combat, which can be nice, compared to Conquest, where it's a little bit sporadic, and you just kind of take fire from all angles sometimes. But I will say about the Conquest system in Battlefield 5, it is much better than the Battlefield 1 version, where the ticket bleed system is totally different than it used to be. And now that they've reverted it back to the older system, I like that. I like the way the games play out much more. The score feels much more lean towards the way that you play. So if you have flags and you're getting lots of kills, then it helps. Whereas in Battlefield 1, you just hold flags. It doesn't matter about how many of the enemies you're taking out. So with all that said, I want to move into the things that I don't really like, and I want to preface this with the fact that this isn't alpha, and I can tell some of the things that haven't been actually finished, and that's why I don't like them. And then there are a few things that are kind of concerning that I can't tell if they have or haven't been finished. First off, number one thing is optimization. The optimization in this map slash build of this game is pretty terrible. Usually whenever you're looking for optimization, you want to look at your, at least on PC, you're looking at your hardware and how it's being utilized. And whenever none of your hardware is being utilized completely to its fullest, that means that you don't have a bottleneck anywhere. That's just the game engine isn't taking advantage of your system. And that was happening on my computer, where I was dipping below 60 frames per second in certain parts of the map, and it just made the game play terribly in those parts of the map. It made me not want to play, to be honest. It was so bad at times. But whenever it was working well, of course the game felt great. And honestly, DICE has never had an issue with optimization in their games. They always do a great job with optimization. So I'm not too worried about that. I definitely believe that there are just some issues with destruction, probably some sort of asset causing some issues that they can clean up. Another thing is that vaulting is a little weird. I don't know if it's not that they haven't nav meshed the maps correctly. I don't know how they do their system, but I do understand that basically what you see and where you walk are two different systems in video games. So essentially what happens is you try to vault over something that should be easily vaultable, and you just can't. You slide on it, or you go up, you vault it, and then you just go back to where you were. Not very good. Another thing is that let me go back to that for just a second and give it a specific example. There are, on the sides of the roads, there are these steep, snow barriers that were built up from, it looked like, imagine the snow had been plowed off of the road and onto the side of the road. And that's what we're talking about, a snow mound kind of thing. Running up them was impossible, and vaulting over them was difficult. You had to probably try and vault, I would say, 2 or 3 times about 50% of the time to get over them. Really annoying stuff like that. They can definitely fix that kind of stuff. They've done it on some of the maps in Battlefield 1 because they've had some issues with trenches and getting out of them. So I do believe that they'll be able to fix that. But I don't know. I don't know. There is one thing that I'm sure is also being tinkered with, and that's reviving players. Whether you are a medic and you revive with your syringe, or if you are a squad mate and you are reviving one of your squad members. After you do a revive animation, essentially you are stuck in a loop of just standing there for a good second. It's not really a loop, it's more of like your character is not done with the animation, and it just doesn't let you do anything for a second after you've revived them. You just stand up and you're kind of frozen. I've died quite a bit to this, actually. I don't know if I would have died either way had I gotten up and been able to run away, but I definitely did die while in this state a few times, and it was pretty annoying. And then this is kind of just a personal taste thing. The snow is a bit much on this map. I read that they toned it down a bit from the EA Access build, but it's still just sometimes just a little too much. They can easily tweak that, I can imagine. And then the scopes on the sniper. In this build we had the Kar 98 with what looked like, I don't know, an 8x scope probably. If not more. It was very magnified. But the problem with the scope is it just feels old. The animation going into the scope is fine, but it just feels very outdated. You have games like Insurgency and PUBG coming out with these more 3D scopes, whereas now you have Battlefield 5, you have this just kind of animation where the scope comes up to your eye and then you have a cheap little transition into a zoomed in image with a 2D image on top. It just feels like you're playing like Call of Duty 2 or something, and sniping. It's kind of weird. I've never had an issue really with any of the Battlefield scopes, but for some reason it just kind of like, I guess maybe because I've been playing other games with really good scopes, with 3D scopes, it feels really lazy, I guess. This is something that it's not, I'm still gonna love the game whether or not this is in there, but it's just kind of like, you know, it's the little things, right? If you're a sniper, if you main a sniper, which a lot of people do, yeah, problem, blah blah blah, just play the objective and there won't be an issue. You zoom in a lot and you zoom out a lot, and if it just looks kind of crappy every single time, then, you know, it's just quality, I guess. But really, that's all I have to say. Overall, I love it, minus a few things here and there, which I do expect majority of them to be changed before the game comes out. Just from experience in past Battlefields. But yeah, overall impressions, very impressed. Gunplay is by far the best change, because I just love that my bullets go where I'm aiming. I have not played Battlefield 1 very much just because of that, just because of the inaccuracy. The recoil is fantastic as well. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, but the recoil is fantastic. Being able to actually control your recoil is leaps and bounds of an improvement in the I guess competitive aspect. Just being able to get better at the game, in a sense. It's less casual. But yeah, and the attrition system, of course, is a great idea. It may need some tinkering here and there, but as of right now, I like it. I think it's a great idea and a great addition to the Battlefield franchise. But yeah, look forward to more videos, and feel free to join me on live stream at twitch.tv/roughtidetv. I'll have a link in the description below, and I hope everybody enjoyed the video.